In this set of problems, we are going to be looking at percentages and finding out amounts based on those percentages. Here it says, in a certain school club, 40% of the members are boys. If there are 45 members in the club, how many of them are boys? Now to do this, I am going to use a double number line. So I'm going to set that up here. And we know that we're going to have percentages, and these will be 0. And then on the other end, I know that I need to write a line because that's how I'm going to mark this value here. So we have 40%, and it says boys. If there are 45 members in the club, how many of them are boys? Okay, so 45 members. And that tells me, and you know what, I made a small mistake. This is not going to be my line for the 40, this is going to be my line for 100. So 100%. If it says if there are 45 members in the club, 40% of the members are boys. So here I'm going to put 45 because that's how many members are in the club altogether. What it's asking me is how many of them are boys. So we have members down here, that's 45 members. And then I'm going to mark here the 40% line, that's just an approximate placement. How many of them are boys? So 40% are boys, we have 45% of the total club. There are a few different ways that I can solve this. I can jump by tens, and that might be what's easiest to do right now. I know that there are 100, and that's 45. And you know what I can also do? I can also jump by 20, because if I jump by 20, that would give me 60, and then 80, and then 100, and 20% would be down here. Now I know if I do it by 20%, so that's going to give me 60 and 80 and 20, I happen to know that 45 is equal to 9 times 5. And the way I've set this up, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And so if I jumped by 9 each time, that would give me 45 in the total. So then I can jump down to find out how many would be at 40. So I'm just going to label each one. And this way I can also check to make sure that my working is correct. So I have 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. 9 plus 9 is 27. And 27 plus 9 is 36. So I have 9, 18, 27, 36, and 45. The one I'm looking for is right here. So 40% of the club is boys. I know that 18 of those members are boys. And my answer here would be B. And in this case, I need to write 26. And I'm going to box that in because I am going to be using this for some additional problems. It's important that we keep it very clear which one is which. Now our next problem says, Elena painted 36 yellow rose bushes. The rest of the rose bushes that she painted were red. The number of yellow rose bushes is 50% of the total number of rose bushes Elena painted. How many rose bushes did she plant? That is a long problem. There are a lot of different things she's talking about in there. So I need to sort this information out in my head. So it says she planted 36 yellow rose bushes. Now I know that some of these are going to be different colors because remember red and yellow. So rose bushes are a unit that we're talking about. The rest of the rose bushes she planted were red. The number of yellow rose bushes is 50% of the total number of rose bushes. Okay, I think I found my most important information now. What I'm actually going to do is scoot. Let's do it this way. I'm going to just cover that up, and now we can just see the question, and I can do my work down below. I'm actually going to slide this down just a bit. Okay, so Elena planted 36 rose bushes. Before I do anything, I just need to remember to set up my double number line. Now again, we have zeros, and this will be my percentage. And we have the 100% line. Now the information that I'm given tells me about the 50%. It says 50% of the total number. 50% of the total is 50%. Now it tells me that the number of yellow rose bushes is 50% of the total number. So the number of yellow rose bushes is right here, 36. Oh, and I need to label this one rose bushes. So 50% of those rose bushes are 36, which is all of the yellow ones. Now it says, how many rose bushes did she plant? It's not asking you about the color anymore. She wants to know we want to find out all together. So all together is 100%. Every rose bush, 100%. Now there's a few different ways that I can do this. I can go by tens and work my way up to 100. However, I do happen to know that 50 plus 50 equals 100. Because 50 and 50 equal 100, I know that I can add this value, 36, to itself, and that would give me my value for 100%. Now 36 plus 36 equals, that 6 plus 6 gives me 12, carry the 1, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 1 gives me 72. So I know that 72 would be my total number of rose bushes. Let's look at one more problem, and then I'll show you some more that you can work on your own. Okay, oh, and again I needed to mark that off. So that was question 27. This is how I show my working. And I box this in. So this is my boxed answer right here and right here, and then I double box by putting the box around the question. Okay, we'll do this one at the bottom, because then when I scoot it up, we'll be able to see, oh, never mind, that's one of my old problems. Let's start this way. Let's come up here. And then I'll scoot the page up and cover up the question. So it said, Thomas got a score of 75% correct on an exam. There were 24 questions on the exam. What number of questions did Thomas get correct? So right now I know that it's talking about questions, and then of course my percentages, because all of these are dealing with percentages. So before, let's see, I'm going to scoot this down. I will still be able to see the question, even though I know you won't be able to. So we're setting up question 28. The very first thing, as always, I'm going to set up my double number line. Zeros, percentages. I'm going to mark the 100% line. And it's talking about questions. I'm just going to put a big Q apostrophe S. It's a quick way to write questions or represent questions, Q's. So it says that he got 75% correct on his exam. There were 24 questions on the exam. What number of questions did Thomas get correct? So 75% rather, is how much he got correct. But 24 questions is the number of questions on the exam. So I know that all of the questions are going to be 100% of the questions. So we have 124 questions, 100% and 24 questions. I need to figure out how many are 75%, because that is how many he got correct. Now I know that the distance between 75 and 100 is 25. And I happen to know as well, especially if I think about quarters, 25 is 1/4 of $1, which is 100 cents. So 100 can be divided into quarters very easily. And now these aren't evenly spread, but they represent equal amounts. So that would be 50% and 25%. It helps me a lot to think about money for a lot of these. The different ways we break up dollars are often ways that we'll break these up. This would be quarters. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. And I happen to know that 24 is equal to 6 times 4. I could also figure that out by dividing it by 4. 24, divided by 4 equals 6. So then that tells me that each of these pieces is going to have 6 questions. So that's 6 questions. 50% would be 12 questions. Add 6 more, that gives me 18. That lets me know that 18 questions are 75% of the total. I'll box that and then put a box around my worksheet. And looking back up here, I see that 18 is in fact one of my answer choices. Okay, so I will not solve any more problems today, but I'll look at a few more with you to look at the units that we need to identify and the percentages. Here it says 20% of the students in the 6th grade class chose pizza for lunch. This means that 6 students chose pizza. How many students are in the 6th grade class? Students is what we're trying to figure out. That's the measured value. 20% of students chose pizza for lunch. This means that 6 students chose pizza. So I know that 6, I'll do a little miniature number line here. 100 and our percent. 20% is equal to 6. I need to find out how many are 100%. So I need to find out how many jumps I need to make there. I can do it by 10, which would give me 10 and 3, but I can also, remembering what I did before, make it in 5 jumps, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And then find out how much that is worth. And I will do one more with you, setting up a number line, and then the rest you'll be able to work on your own. Let's see. Oh, some of these are not percentages anymore, so I'm actually going to leave these ones. These do, however, deal with double number lines, and so you will be able to use the same strategies to solve these problems, but instead of percentages, as in this case, we have days and dollars.